This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Wanaka will soon have a new space to enjoy as the Upper Clutha Community House in McDougall Street begins to take shape. A Dunedin business is making sure Emma Gilmore's rally car will be looking spick and span for the 2019 rally season. And Palestine and Queenstown are worlds apart, but two of the resort's skateboarders are on a skating mission to the Middle East. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Wanaka will soon have a new space to enjoy as the Upper Clutha Community House in McDougall Street begins to take shape, although the establishment manager believes there's still a lot of work to be done over winter.
A framework for a community hub. When completed, this building is set to house 40 different community organisations, including Community Networks Wanaka and a host of other non-government organisations. Establishment manager Gina Treadwell says there's a lot of work to be done.
It's about really coordinating everything that's got to happen in the next 6 months. I don't know how long have we got, so we're saying it should hopefully be completed by September.
Treadwell says it will give the community another space for local organisations and groups to meet, and she's keen to get the word out about the project.
So it's getting the build finished, getting the kitchen sorted, tenancies put in place, comms. I think it's really important at the moment that the community is constantly kept up to date with what's going on. It's fantastic and people just don't really know about this at the moment, so comms is really important.
Construction is progressing well with a completion target of September. Treadwell expects the hall and meeting rooms will be kept busy with many agencies already signed up for the hub.
So, Community Networks will be an anchor for us in terms of here in this space. We have 40 tenancies, so we have Cancer Society, Jigsaw, Volunteering Central. Anything that you know that's in town will be in here.
She says they aim to keep 10% of the space set aside for other groups to be able to use casually, including a major function room.
We've got this wonderful auditorium which will seat 150 people, can be used for all sorts of things. Conferences, weddings, funerals, bigger groups that want to just come and use the hall, music. It just gives the community another space. We know we're short of space for these sort of events. Wonderful space. $3 million has been raised towards the project so far, but Treadwell says they still need to secure another $1 million of funding so the project can be completed. In Wanaka, The South Today.
The Dunedin Town Hall will be open for people to watch the National Remembrance service being held in Christchurch tomorrow morning. An event will also be held in the hall starting at 9:30 a.m, with the Remembrance service to be shown live on big screens between 10 and 11 a.m. A large screen on Harrop Street will also show it live. The Dunedin City Council is advising people to leave bags at home as there will be security checks at the library, Town Hall, Civic Centre and Library Plaza. Some nearby streets will also be closed. Dunedin-based rally driver Emma Gilmore has focused on working with local businesses during her motorsport career, including the people who lovingly cover her car with their sponsors' logos, where her Suzuki rally car is at the moment.
A nearly new car under wraps. Dunedin-based rally driver Emma Gilmore checking in with progress as her car has its racing skin put on at Custom Signs.
Yeah, we're about halfway through, and we're pretty stoked with the way it's come out, all the colours and that. Nice and bright, and everything, all the logos fit in, so that's a bonus. But we muck around for mock-ups a wee bit to make sure everything's good before we go to print.
Proprietor Terry Soper admits this process can look a little tricky, but says the process of getting the livery onto the cars is reasonably straightforward.
It's all good to print. We run through the printer, let it dry. Need to let it dry for about a day, and then we laminate it, put a clear coat over the top of it, stop it from getting scratched or damaged and bits and pieces like that. And and then we start applying it to the car.
He agrees with Gilmore and says local businesses supporting one another helps the local economy while being pretty cool.
No, it's a cool factor actually. It's good to sponsor Emma's car. Like, she's always a good driver, and at the front of the field, and it's all televised, so it's good for us to get our name out there with the rest of the sponsors. So definitely that's why we do it every year. And
in rally driving, there can be times where the cars and their signage get a little beaten up when drivers take the meaning of off-road a little too far.
I go with more work. No, no. It's usually not too bad, eh? Like, she doesn't damage it much, so yeah, it's only a couple of stickers here and there, so normally to touch it up, so yeah, that's not a problem.
Terry and Ryan, who's applying the vinyl to Gilmore's car, say the job should be finished by the end of the week. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A motorist has escaped without injury when their car rolled after it was rear-ended by a van in Dunedin yesterday afternoon. Mosgiel man Matthew O'Neill says he stopped at the pedestrian crossing in South Road when a van behind him failed to stop and smashed into the back of his car. The car came to rest on its roof on the curb, but he escaped injury. The 39-year-old was unable to open his driver's side door, but Dunedin woman Rochelle Kane, who witnessed the incident, managed to help him from the vehicle. It's pretty hard to imagine somewhere more different to Queenstown than Palestine, but that's where two keen resort skateboarders are heading to share their skills. Caitlin Hodgson and Tarina Adams are set to jet off next week for a month-long trip to Ramallah to teach kids how to skate.
Getting ready to take their skateboarding skills to the other side of the world. Queenstown locals Caitlin Hodgson and Tarina Adams are heading to Ramallah next week, hoping to empower the youth of Palestine through skateboarding.
We run a girls skate nights here in Queenstown every Friday, so that's where we kind of started running them here, and we're hoping to take all of our skills and what we've learned here over to Palestine and transfer that to the kids.
The project is run through UK-based charity SkatePal, which works with communities throughout Palestine to enhance the lives of young people and promote the benefits of skateboarding.
Yeah, good life lessons, falling over and getting back up again, it's pretty, standard. especially for a lot of the girls over there that aren't as encouraged and a lot more kind of, suppressed to stay at home and clean and cook, and just to get them out in the park, and really once they're there, they just do the rest themselves.
It's the latest in a long line of similar projects the pair have been involved with, including trips to Morocco and Iraq to help build skate parks and teach lessons.
These kind of trips really make you see places that you wouldn't ever think of going. It's not really like Thailand or Bali, it's kind of somewhere a bit different, and it's, especially being there for a month, plenty of time to really immerse yourself in the culture.
All going to plan, the pair will be in Ramallah for a month. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Sticks of dynamite are discovered in Lake Roxburgh, and we have the latest edition of Global Insight with ODT features writer Bruce Munro.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garrador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garrador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin. It's our birthday. Up to 50% off Sleepyhead beds. Plus, we will give you a free gift with all beds over $9.99. March only. Come see us at Beds R Us Dunedin.
Green Island Medical Centre have 2 late night clinics. We are now open on a Tuesday and Thursday night until 7 p.m. with doctor and nurse appointments available. Phone us on 488 2754 to make a booking or to find out more information.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Tune in to Eastern Light Filmworks every week.
Welcome back. Half a dozen sticks of dynamite have been discovered on a beach at Lake Roxburgh. Alexandra Police Sergeant Adam Elder says the explosives were discovered washed up on Lake Roxburgh's Mackenzie Beach last night. A scene guard was placed at the site of the discovery and a bomb squad has been deployed from Christchurch to ensure the dynamite is disposed of safely. Sergeant Elder says it didn't appear to be anything sinister, just someone who tried to dispose of them in an inappropriate manner. Professor Robert Patman says Australia might not go as far as New Zealand in speaking out against hate speech, thought to have fueled the alleged Christchurch mosque gunman. The international relations specialist raises the question in the latest edition of Global Insight with ODT features writer Bruce Munro.
The repercussions of the Christchurch mosque attacks, which killed 50 people and wounded a further 50 people, are still being felt around the globe, including, of course, in our closest neighbour, Australia. Welcome, Robert.
Morning, Bruce.
The alleged shooter is from Australia. Our looser gun laws here in New Zealand allowed him to stage this attack here. How is this terrible event being interpreted in Australia?
Well, in Australia, given that the alleged perpetrator is from Australia, the reaction has been one of deep shock. Australia, in a sense, it's a problem not just for New Zealand, but for Australia, because it highlights the degree of Islamophobia in that country, which is much greater, by the way, in Australia than it is in New Zealand. And some of the reactions that we've seen, certainly they've been minority reactions, highlight the problem of Islamophobia. You have Senator Anning blaming New Zealand's immigration policy for the Christchurch atrocity. Now that is in no way representative of most Australians. The reaction of the government, led by Scott Morrison, has been extremely supportive. And so there's going to be some hard questions now about how can Islamophobia be tackled in Australia, because clearly it has international consequences if it's unchecked.
What effect will this attack have on relations between New Zealand and Australia? Will it bring us together or will it push us apart?
I think in the short term, the two countries have come together. We just alluded to the shock that Australia felt. Liberal democracy and also respect for the rule of law, and also both put quite a big emphasis on tolerance. So these things have come under threat in light of the Christchurch atrocity. In the long term, however, I think the situation is less clear. I think personally the impact of the Christchurch atrocity may embolden New Zealand to go on the front foot in speaking out against the international sources of the propaganda and rhetoric which was absorbed by the alleged perpetrator. It's clear that he was deeply influenced by the international scene, and I think that New Zealand will want to, along with like-minded countries, want to push back against that. The question is, how far would Australia feel comfortable in joining New Zealand in going on the front foot against, nationalist populism which is generating some of this sort of rhetoric and propaganda.
Jacinda Ardern has been hailed globally for her response and her leadership. Could this give her more clout with Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and even on the world stage? And if so, on what sort of issues would you expect to see her use that clout?
I think what's really caught the imagination of many people globally is that the Prime Minister has shown both compassion, embraced the victims, and when I say the victims, I'm referring to the relatives of the people who have been killed or injured, and openly displayed her sympathies. And I think that's shown a degree of human contact that many people welcome. It's important, strategically, by the way, it's not just a question of showing compassion, it's important to make the community which feels it's been the victim of this appalling attack, the Muslim community, it's important to empathise with them and demonstrate that all New Zealanders regard them, in the Prime Minister's words, as one of us, you know, the same. And so it's important that the people who've been on the receiving end of this attack don't feel that they've been abandoned, and that in turn could block the possibility of some sort of revenge action. And looking on the international scene, the Jacinda Ardern's handling of the crisis has won a lot of applause. Even Bernie Sanders, a contender for the US presidency, has commended what he saw as her decisive action again. He said that Jacinda Ardern's response to push through gun control measures showed the way gun control should be done. Jacinda Ardern's handling of the crisis, I think, does actually convey something that's deeper and is often missed, which is, in an interconnected world, small powers actually have much more potential than they probably hitherto realised. And I think you could classify New Zealand's performance following the Christchurch atrocity not as that of a small state, but of a minor power, because the Prime Minister's handling of the crisis has got huge international attention and admiration.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight. Ka kite anō.
After the break on the South Today, Heinz unveils a new eye-catching sculpture visible to all travellers on State Highway 1, and we have tomorrow's weather for you, so stay with us.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garrador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garrador keeps his favourite right in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
Most of us have spots on our skin. That's quite normal. Finding skin cancer as early as possible is key to successful treatment. Book in for a free check of 1 to 2 moles or a comprehensive full body check with the Mole Doctor in Waverley.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
Dunedin Beds R Us are having a stock clearance sale during the month of February, up to 50% off New Zealand-made sleepyhead beds. Come see Ricky and the team at 505 Princess Street, next to Armstrong Prestige. Plenty of parking.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Thanks for staying with us. Rakaya has the salmon, or Hakune the carrot, Springfield the donut, and now Heinz has its own eye-catching sculpture, a pair of giant hinds. The larger-than-life female deer stand proudly with the ears pricked for danger on the edge of the domain and rugby grounds in the township and can be clearly seen from State Highway 1.
Unveiling this impressive pair of giant hinds standing proudly in the township of, well, Hinds. They were commissioned by the Hinds Lions and partly funded by a local farmer to celebrate the small mid-Canterbury community.
We're putting the hinds in Hinds, so as to speak. The project was thought about by one of the locals, not one of the Lions, a local.
The local he speaks of is former local farmer Alan Taggart, who suggested the idea over 20 years ago. He was at yesterday's unveiling along with members of the Hinds community, school pupils and district councillors.
They're absolutely marvellous and beyond all my absolute belief on how they would turn out. So congratulations to the Hinds Lions, particularly Kevin Jackson, for seeing the project through to the finish.
Kevin Jackson says commissioning the statues was a no-brainer.
We're the only place other than Bulls that can have the Hinds name and the name of the town being the same thing.
The hinds were crafted by local man Clive Seddon, who's been making wildlife sculptures for over 50 years. He says he's very happy with the finished products, which took him about 6 months to complete.
So what we did, we made a steel rod frame and then covered it with about 6 layers of netting and then plastered it. And when it was dry, we painted it.
And local school children will help plant native grasses shortly to further beautify the domain corner in Hinds, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Wanaka will soon have a new space to enjoy as the Upper Clutha Community House in McDougall Street begins to take shape. A Dunedin business is making sure Emma Gilmore's rally car will be looking spick and span for the 2019 rally season. And it's pretty hard to imagine somewhere more different to Queenstown than Palestine, but that's where two keen resort skateboarders are heading to share their skills. And now it's time for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry Stewart. What have you got for us in tomorrow's paper?
Melissa, we've got a lot of good stories in the paper tomorrow, and a sample of them are, we talked to a former King's High School pupil who was shot in the leg during the Christchurch attacks. He's recovering nicely, so an interview with him. And good news, Dunedin is going to get more car parks. The City Council is planning to put the old bus stops that have been made redundant, of course, with the new bus hub So those former bus stops are now going to be car parks. So
now that is something to celebrate.
Good news for people, and that allows 28 new car parks in the central city. So that'll be a celebration for some. Met Service is forecasting still more heavy rain in the west coast, so no ease of the struggle there. And positive news from Queenstown subdivision consent for a 300 plus housing development on the former Wakatipu High School site is expected to be lodged within a month, and work could start before winter. So they're kicking on with that, so that's good news. And history could be recreated in Glenorchy. The historic Mount Earnslaw Hotel, which was of course burnt down by fire in 1959, before your time clearly.
Well before my time.
Is going to be rebuilt, so there you go. So that's something to look forward to. And of course we have our big sports tabloid tomorrow with a comprehensive roundup of all the rugby action and every other sport you can imagine.
Wonderful, so you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view, taken of some of Dunedin's wonderful street art. Looking at the situation, a fine weekend ahead with warmer northerly airflow developing and some high cloud by Sunday. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect a cloudy day with 24-degree highs for both of you. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are also cloudy with 22 degrees. In Canterbury, you too can expect a grey day with 18 degrees for Kaikoura and Christchurch with 19 for Ashburton. In the southern towns, light winds and clear skies are the order of the day. The Catlins will head for 18, Balclutha 1 higher on 19, with Lumsden and Gore due to reach a high of 22 degrees. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, where you're due to have light winds and fine weather. Wanaka, you're heading for 22, Queenstown 20, Alexandra reaches the high of 23, and those in Te Anau should plan for 18 degrees. To the northern towns, Twizel and Amarama, you're in for light winds and fine weather. Twizel, you're heading for 22, and Amarama is set to reach 23. Timaru and Oamaru should reach moderate northeasterlies and a high of 17. In Dunedin, fine tonight with northeasterlies and an overnight low of 11. Long sunny periods and some cloud tomorrow, and looking at a high of 16 and a low of 12. Saturday planned for fresh breezy northeasterlies, a high of 17 and a low of 13. Heading to Invercargill, fine tonight with an overnight low of 8 degrees. Warmer tomorrow with sunny periods, heading for a high of 21 and a low of 11. Saturday is set for long sunny periods. Sounds like a wonderful day it's going to be, looking at a high of 23 degrees and a low of 14. That's all our news for Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Enjoy this lovely evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.